What's up, everybody, and welcome to Growing Up Gaming, your weekly podcast where we meet a new person of the internet to discuss their childhood with gaming and how it inspired their lives today. My name is Mitch Power. Again, thank you guys so much for returning each and every week to the show. Hopefully you've subscribed on iTunes or Google Play, or you just follow Sean Capri on Twitter and he told you to listen to the show, which, if you did, cool. Also, thank you, Sean, for the shout out on the Xbox Drive. That was also really nice of you. But this week on the show, we have our guest. His name is McLaughlin. I met this man actually through Sean. We did a Xbox prediction show last E3 for 2017, and ever since then, me and him have corresponded on Twitter. We've done some streaming on Mixer, which we will get to and everything here in the show as well. But yeah, we have a ridiculously silly chat, and goes off the rails a bunch, but whatever, that's fine. A lot of people hopefully like that. If you do, let me know. But if you guys want to be on the show just like he was, go ahead and send me a tweet at MitchPower1116 on Twitter, or at the podcast at GUG Podcast on Twitter. Without further ado, let's get things started with Brock McLaughlin. Do you remember what got you started playing games? Do you remember if it was a buddy, if it was your parents, if you went to a store and saw it at a kiosk? Do you remember what got you started?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, feel free to tell me.
Oh, we're rolling. Are we going?
Rolling.
Are we going?
Yeah,
we got this thing going?
It's an authentic flow. It just goes in. But don't worry, I'll edit this part out. So
I just ruined the whole moment. All right, let's start back when I was a young. Cue that magical music and little Brock. But no, I started with the Super Nintendo. That was definitely the first system I ever remember owning and loving. I grew up with like a single mother, and I know she like did the math. She was like, what's cheaper, like a babysitter like twice a week, or just buying him a Super Nintendo and renting a game from Blockbuster every week? And she went with a Super Nintendo, so I just brought that thing everywhere. She went like to the gym, and I just sit in like the gym basement and play Super Nintendo while she did her 90s aerobics.
Awesome. Like that's actually, it's funny that you were at least bringing your console with you places, because that was absolutely one of those households where they were like, you can bring games, you can bring controllers, you leave your damn system attached. Like, we're not letting this out of the house. Your mom was just straight like, here you go, bring it with me to the gym. To the gym?
To the gym. She worked in the gym. So she was like one of those like big hair, leotard outfits, screaming at people in the 90s, working like cycling.
Nice.
Before Soul Cycle was a thing.
Right.
She was doing that.
That's awesome. So she worked there.
I grew up in a lot of gyms.
Okay, so she worked there. So it's not like,
yeah,
because that would just be really awkward if I just like took my kids to the gym and I'd be like, hey, use one of these TVs here and hook up something, just like out of nowhere.
Just go sit on that. Just go sit on the bench and play some Super Nintendo.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, at least they were cool. I mean, at least the gym was cool with you bringing it in, and they didn't really care or anything. So.
Yeah, as far as I know, I just sat in like the weird like gym employee basement and played some Super Mario World.
There you go. Nothing wrong with that. So like as far as it goes, did you have any brothers and sisters or no?
No, I was an only child. My mom made the mistake once and learned her lesson.
Yes, Brock. Exactly. That's exactly what happened. She made a mistake. That mistake is now Brock. You know what she didn't do? She didn't mistake you with your name, dude. There are like not many of you Brocks out there.
No, there isn't. There was one Brock, and he was a Brock McLaughlin, and he was on the run for murder like a few years ago. But other than that, it's been a pretty clean name.
At least you got the good Twitter for it.
Yeah, exactly. At least I like never had to fight any. And it's funny, like there's some other like young Brock McLaughlins now, like teenagers, so they've like hit me up on Twitter. This sounds weird, but we talk. We're like, hey, nice names, you know. You ever like gone through Facebook and looked for the people with the same name as you? I find that amusing.
Yeah. Well, again, like the other thing too is, has anybody actually ever said, hey, I want your Twitter name?
No.
Okay, that's good.
No.
They just go with Brock_McLaughlin like an idiot. Like they just can't get the real one, so they have to go with the underscore.
Or like some extra letters or something.
Right. Or the real Brock, like, like
yo, if someone did that, I'd come after them. I'd be like, really?
You gotta go.
Who are you again?
Yeah, just go off followers. Be like, sir, just stop. Go look at how many followers I have. But then you don't realize that they're 10 And like their whole school follows them because that's what 10-year-olds do on Twitter. Which if a 10-year-old's on Twitter, that's terrifying. Like,
well, now they're all on that other app, right? They all have their new social media app that'll probably last about a month.
Yeah, exactly. Because we're too old, Brock. We don't know.
Man, like, I have enough shit I, like, waste my time looking at. Like, I hate Facebook, and, like, I already waste so much time on Instagram and Twitter. I don't need another app. Yeah. What was that one that came out a few years ago? I think it was, like, a Google one. Not Google Plus. It wasn't Google. But it was some stupid social media thing. It didn't last more than like 4 weeks, but everyone was like, add me there. You can follow my real boring life on over there.
Well, the other thing too is people are just happy when a new social media platform comes out because they can run and grab the actual like username they want. And they're like, yes, I got it there. And then you're like, well, that's going to die in 3 months. So who gives a shit?
This will be my moment. I'll be famous over there. I swear.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Because that's how you get famous. I don't know if you're aware. But you have to get, that's what some people are saying about Mixer, though.
Fuck, I've been doing it all wrong.
You fucked up. Why are you doing this?
Oh, man.
Is it because you got your name on Mixer?
Pornos and no one keeps watching them.
I know, man.
I just following the Kardashian method.
Yeah, you putting Brock's porn on Mixer. Yeah, I'm sure Microsoft will love that. Xbox Canada, don't listen to this. Don't block him, please. So you basically... single, no, sisters or brothers, Super Nintendo all the time, basically.
All the time, man.
Mom dragging
all the
over.
time. There was no Sega growing up in my household.
I mean, I would say that's good, but yeah, I mean that's good. It's okay. Like I
had friends with Sonic and stuff, and like had Segas, and we'd play it, but it didn't. It never captured me for the same amount of time that anything on the Super Nintendo ever would. I think it was just that really stiff, rigid, awful controller just sucked me in.
Yeah, you know what it is though too. Like I remember because I was more Genesis kid, and like I occasionally had the one friend that had a Super Nintendo, and I remember the original Genesis controller, like D-pad 3 buttons, just the big like Batwing looking thing that you like chucked at your friends. It was odd. And then when that 6-button controller came out, it was like heaven. I was like, oh, this is so much better. It was smaller and skinnier and had all the buttons for Mortal Kombat. I'm like, this is entirely better in like every way. And then like I'd go over to my buddy's house and they'd have that the 3-button controller. And I'm like, what a baby. What is
I found those buttons were so sticky. They were very different than the Super Nintendo controllers.
Yes, very. The Super Nintendo was squishy. Like it was squishy, especially the start and select buttons. Those were like super because they were already like not hard plastic squishy, but they were like rubberized squishy. But no, I mean like, but it's weird because I mean now you look back and like obviously the Super Nintendo controller is way more. You don't see any shirts out there with Genesis controllers on it. You know what I mean?
No, you really don't. you really don't.
No one gives a shit about the Genesis controller, but it's all right. I mean, again, here's the other thing too. SNES Classic comes out, internet explodes. Sega has a goddamn Genesis collection bundle system for years, and no one even noticed until Super Nintendo came out with theirs, and they're like, "Oh, that's cool. They have one."
Those things are so garbage though too. I almost bought one at like Bed Bath & Beyond because it was like on sale for $20 and it was like 200 games. It's like I don't think the Genesis had 200 games, and it didn't. They're all like bootleg weird ROM games.
Yeah,
and then it like 7 versions of Sonic.
I saw one of them, like one of those older like that had the games built into it, but also flat out played Genesis games, and I was like, whoa, that's kind of new. But also too, if you have every good game built into the system, what random ass one-off game are you actually putting in the console to play that's not already loaded on that? Like, what game are you enjoying so much that you have the actual cart for that's not already pre-installed in that thing? Because those games, like you said, there wasn't that many games. All the best games that were on it are already loaded on those things.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like Altered Beast. Maybe you need to play Altered Beast.
Yeah, exactly.
That was a classic one.
Yeah, that's what sucks too. Is like I remember like because again I'm such a dumb kid that when I had my Genesis I was like because obviously Nintendo had your like staple franchises, your Final Fantasies, your Zeldas, your Marios. Sonic was cool, but I mean again like. I'm just a dumb 90s kid, so marketing like Sonic's got attitude, and I was like, yeah, that's cool. So I was stupid and fell for that. But then there was other games like Comic Zone that I thought was such a cool idea. And I was like, yeah, that was cool. Never happened again. Vector Man. It was like the first like 3D-ish looking game on a 2D plane. I was like...
You got to point out that Comic Zones 2 was like... It was also spelled with an X, right?
Yes.
Because it was so edgy.
It was so edgy, bro. Like, if you had an X in it, man. Come on. You had an X in it. That was edgy. Extreme didn't have an... I don't know if you know this. Extreme spelled, when you spell it, it actually starts with an E, not an X. I don't know if you know
Oh,
that.
wow. As a child of the 90s, I did not know that.
I know, man. How many 30-year-olds do you think are out there that are misspelling the word extreme still to this day?
Probably an extreme amount.
There you go. Dude, I would love for some dummy to spell extreme like that and like and mean it. I'd be like, we didn't just do this, did we? Did you just send me a text with the word extreme without the E at the beginning? I'm never talking to you again.
What's the spelling game show?
Wheel of Fortune?
Wheel of Fortune, there you go.
Yeah.
Are you sure that's your final answer? Fuck yeah. I have to do it like, I'm a West Coaster too, so I have to do like the surf sign, like the all's good man sign when I say extreme.
Right.
Just a habit.
Okay, hold on. So where did you grow up?
I grew up in Vancouver.
Okay.
Yeah. Vancouver,
see-
British Columbia, that's still in Canada for those of you that don't know. Canada's slightly north of the United States of America.
I think it's directly north. I don't think it's
Yes, it's directly north.
You're like, you could slightly veer to the left or right of the north. No, it's straight up above us in every way.
We're right next to Alaska, which is the home of the last Blockbuster.
Mm-hmm. Yo, shout out to the last Blockbuster. I guarantee you, man, like people go, that's one of those dumb tourist things. Like I'm sure people go there and there's like, oh, look at this. Does my card still work?
What the fuck else would you do in Alaska though?
Yeah, basically. I mean, you go there.
I mean, those employees are like, they're giving it them all, okay? They're like, because first off, there's not that many DVD copies, and to get to Alaska, they're probably coming in months after the fact that they've been out. So they're
Right.
still showing off like Charlie St. Cloud and Click.
Yes, they just got Click, bro. You shut your mouth. They just got Click.
This is Adam Sandler at his finest.
Exactly. They don't know what Netflix is yet. They haven't gotten to that point yet. And then when Alaska knows what Netflix is, they're like, ah, fuck. What am I going to do with this Blockbuster?
Some tourist comes in. You got Stranger Things? Have you seen Stranger Things yet?
They will just look at you like, I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, we got Transformers 1. Does that work?
Well, what was that thing that was supposed to go against Blu-ray and they came in the red discs?
The HD DVDs.
HD DVDs, man. They probably have all of them. That's probably where they sent them all.
That is probably where they did send them all. You know,
I used to work at a Rogers, and we used to have so many of those. Rogers is like a Blockbuster. It's like
Right.
a video rental store. And we had so many of those, and I started working like at the tail end of it, and we didn't know what to do with them. So we just like throw them out back in the garbage because nobody would buy them. Like we were bundling them like buy one, get 17 free.
right.
And there was like 4 options. Like how many times do you really want to see that shitty King Kong film with Jack Black?
Yeah, there was that. There was also like the Bourne Identity or something that was just like...
Of course.
Of course. It has to be that. But yeah, I remember right when... Because HD DVD, Blu-ray was all happening. And then, yeah, it was similar to that, though. Best Buy, like, as I used to work at Best Buy, and, like, right around the time when they were like, yeah, this is kind of dead, they were selling the drive for the Xbox for, like, $20. They were like, again, buy one, get, like, 9 free, because we just want to get rid of them in our stores. We can't have them here, so, yeah, that happens. But, yeah, I mean, it's okay. I mean, there were so many people I know that bought that HD DVD drive for their Xbox, so they, quote, didn't ruin the normal disc drive watching movies. And I was like, interesting. That's your mindset around how you spent $20 on an extra disc drive for your Xbox. Okay. I guess that's how you go about it, but whatever, it's fine. So
that's so bizarre. It's so funny that Xbox had that feature so far back in the day, and now they're like such a huge like use. They like Blu-ray is a huge selling feature on the devices,
right?
But the PlayStation 4 doesn't have Blu-ray, which
right.
is the Pro, which blows my mind.
Which doesn't have the 4K Blu-ray, which by the way Sony owns the license for. go.
Yeah, which is so odd. It's so bizarre.
So bizarre, but again, man, Sony's like, streaming's the future. PlayStation Now, 4K movies, it's the future.
Yeah, PlayStation Now is no good. No bueno.
Nope, sure ain't.
It's no Game Pass, man.
It ain't. And I'm sure we'll get all about that later. Can't wait about that.
What's that?
I'm sure we'll get all over Game Pass in a little bit and how awesome it is and how I'm signing up as soon as Sea of Thieves comes out.
Oh, yeah, it's totally worth the money, for sure.
Completely worth it. So, back to
my childhood.
Back to your childhood and those fun memories. So, obviously, you were Super Nintendo. You had some friends of yours that had Genesis and stuff.
I did say have friends.
yeah, you did have friends, right? Like, you weren't just stuck in a basement of a gym alone by yourself. Like, did you
my mom put a dumbbell on my foot and told me I couldn't go anywhere.
Yeah, exactly. 50-pound dumbbell on your foot. That's why one of your feet are like just abnormal than the other. One of your feet.
That's why you've never seen my feet online.
That's very true. Because one size shoe is a 15 and the other one's a 9. We don't know why. Now we do. So when you had friends, like, did you do any, like, what kind of games were you into back then? Did you do a lot of games with your friends together, or were you more just single player because of, like, a lot of time being spent alone in a basement at a gym?
I would steal a lot of games from my friends. I still probably have some of those, so I'm sorry to my grade 1 classmates. But I played a lot of single player games. Like, I played a lot of Super Mario World, Earthworm Jim, Donkey Kong was like one of my favorites. Cool Spot, man, I love Cool Spot. I don't care what anyone says. That game was rad. And like Super Adventure Island and stuff like that. So it was always usually single player. I didn't do well with sharing, so it was all me.
Yeah, I can imagine when it comes to sharing, though, that you're an only kid. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to share. You're not forced to share by your parents when other people come into this world. Like, I was, I will say, like, I didn't have to share my games as much because my sisters weren't into it. But yeah, I can imagine you not being super into sharing as much.
No, I really didn't want to share my stuff. It was mine, and it was my gaming time, and I wanted that. And I just thought I was better than them at playing. I probably wasn't. I'm still really bad.
No, dude, we're awesome. Don't look at our mixers.
But I try, yeah.
Yeah, just
I think people think like, you talk about gaming a lot, you write about it, you must be good. And no, man, I'm pretty bad.
Yeah, I mean, there are only a few certain select games that I have like super big ego. Like, fuck you guys, I am better at you at this game. Like, there's only very few that I'm like that with. Most games I'm just like, I'm okay. I'll hold my own, but I'm okay. But no, like, if you mention Trials HD or any of the Trials games, if you mention Rock Band, I will fuck your world up. Like, I am just so good at those games, and all my friends lists, like, everybody that's on my friends list, everybody's like, dude, how'd you shave off 6 seconds? And again, just to be clear, I'm not the best in the world. I'm just very confident in those games with my friends. That's it. I don't claim to be super awesome, like top 10 in the world or none of that shit. I just know I'm better at those games than most of my friends are.
Now, when you say Trials, do you mean like Trials HD, Trials Fusion?
Yes, all of the above.
Okay.
Like, all of the above. Go look at my scores, and you'll be like, shit.
Funny enough, I was looking at games to download because I've been really into playing some of my like older like 360 back compact games, and Trials Fusion was on there. I was like, I've never played this, but it kind of looks like Tony Hawk. I'm gonna go ahead and download this.
Trials is one of those games that's just like, it's basically like, the best part about it is that when you're just trying to get the best time. You're trying to get through the course as fast as you can, but there's literally things like, if I do this or if I lean this way, I can shave off like a quarter of a second off my time. And it restarts each level so fast to where if you fuck up, you can just hit B and you're instantly back to where at the beginning. Like, it's just that, like, I just want to get a little faster, just get a little bit better. And then, like, all of a sudden, if I get a notification that somebody beat me in a map, I go and play that map like a psycho until I've beat the time that they beat me on. So, I don't know, but it's just one of those games that, like, that attention span where I'm just like, I'm focused on this level. I want to beat this level. And then, of course, there's some levels that are insane that some people can't, like most of my friends haven't even completed because they're ridiculously hard. But, yeah, the very first very first trials, I have platinum on every single map, and most people were like, I don't even know how you got gold. And I'm like, I don't know either, but again, that's just one of those games that, and then Rock Band, for a while there, I did Endless Set List 2 on Expert Guitar. So Rock Band 2, the one where you have to play every single song in a row without pausing or failing.
Mm-hmm.
I did that on Expert Guitar. So it was like 6 hours straight or something, 7 hours straight. And I did it. And again, those are just those 2 games. Just those 2 games. Otherwise, I'm okay.
I watched porn for 12 hours straight once and never got anything out of it, so.
There you go. Dude, you didn't get an achievement, man? There was no achievement that popped up from that?
No, something popped up all right, but not an achievement.
Ba-dum.
Ba-dum.
Dude, yeah, I mean, you know what? You should get an achievement from that. Xbox should recognize that. They're like, sir, you've been on Microsoft Edge for 12 hours straight on one website. That's an achievement.
Yeah, that on Bing. That's just
Yes.
depressing.
Yeah. Dude, if you Bing, poor Bing. Bing wishes you would use it for that. It's just like, please use it.
Just use me for anything.
Look up anything you want. Just the worst.
And every time I get an email, I'm like, Bing point? What the fuck's a Bing point? And I really, whatever it is, I don't want it.
Dude, they want you to use Bing for the shit Google will report you to, like, the authorities for. They're like, we won't tell anybody. Just search anything you want in this.
I just assume cops use it. Just a narc use Bing.
That's exactly who it is. Bing is for cops and narcs. That's all who uses it, right? They're just searching there. Oh my god. But again, that's one of the many things Microsoft has tried and maybe not worked.
I like it though. They in the same, Nintendo does the same thing, and they try things. They don't work. They move on.
Exactly. They're just like, whatever. Let's go. But also too, they're Microsoft. Microsoft could like piss away $1 million and be like, tax write off. Anyway,
right?
They don't care. They're just like, whatever. That didn't work. We'll just say it was research and development. That's a tax write off. Sure, why not? I bet you Bing is their biggest tax write off.
Yeah.
They just consider it research and development. work expense. Fucking please get us some reimbursement back for that.
I mean, the data they must have pulled on their like 7 users is probably important to them.
Dude, so important. The analytics, the bar graphs, the Excel spreadsheets, shit.
Well, it looks like everyone opens up this browser once in their lifetime and then never goes back.
For some reason, they have it as their homepage only when they first turn their computer on for the first time ever. And then afterwards, it's just changed. We don't get
And
it.
then quickly search Chrome.
Yeah, all of a sudden, Google's changed. I don't know what they're doing over there. That's all right. So then did you continue down the road with 64 then? Like going forward?
I like that I keep deflecting from your questions about my upbringing.
No.
My therapist says I do the same thing.
No. This show like is completely like that. Like we'll go back to that, but then it'll go nuts for a minute, and then we'll go back to it. It's fine. I'm
so excited to listen to Dapper Tux's episode.
Yeah, his episode is great. He actually was one of the longer episodes I had, but dude, he's awesome. Like
I feel like he'd be so serious and like proper about it.
Nah. We joke around a lot. He's good people.
All right.
I mean, me and you are completely joking more, but it's okay. Again, I don't try to take this show so serious. It's not like I'm sitting here going, it's not like I have a list of questions in front of me, and if you miss one of my questions, I get all pissed. No. Like, whatever we talk about, we talk about. It's okay.
Yeah.
That's what this show's about.
And this is an NPR.
Yes, it is.
Oh, shit.
I got that radio voice, apparently. Some people have told me that I actually have a good voice for radio, which I was just like, all right, whatever, bro. Do you want to record a podcast or not? That's exactly how I am. I'm such a dick on Twitter. No, I'm just like, oh, thank you.
I'm into it. So N64, yes, was my next step in my gaming evolution. I got I saved up my money because I was right around the time where your parents kind of pay you to like clean up the house a bit.
Yep.
And learn to mow the lawn.
Yep.
So I saved up I think it was like 300 Canadian at the time, which is probably 40,000 American to buy the N64.
Exactly.
With a little game called, I didn't get the 64 bundle. I got the Diddy Kong Racing bundle.
Gotcha.
and I absolutely loved that game. Up until then, I'd played a lot of Super Mario 64 at a friend's house and Star Fox, and I never got that game. I hated it.
Star Fox?
And and it made me in no rush to want to get the N64.
Yeah, I've never been a big Star Fox guy. Not like saying it's a bad game. I've just played it and gone, I don't see the big deal. You know, like, I guess at the time, like, when it first came out on Super Nintendo, it was, like, pretty, I guess, you know, because it was Super Effects chip, which means we can charge you $90 for this game instead of $70, but, no, I just never
was
got
it,
the
though?
appeal.
Like, and it's like Super Mario 64 in my head was like, that was a good-looking game, but Star Fox was not. It was just so, like, polygonal. It was so lame-looking.
Yeah, well, I mean,
gray.
The funny thing, too, is if you go back and look at Mario 64, it was so jaggy. Like, it was so jaggy. But also, too, I think it's just, like, I think for me, it's the gameplay of Star Fox that is more or less the problem with it. Like, graphically, it's whatever. I'm talking about on Super Nintendo, it was like the hottest shit at that time. But I'm talking like on 64, it's just, I think that was the game that introduced the Rumble Pack on 64, which, cool, thank you. Like, that's appreciative, but it's just like the gameplay, the on-rail shooter, I'm just like, I don't know. I don't find it as interesting. But Mario 64 was next level shit, dude. That was like, whoa, you're running like in 3D space, you're jumping into pictures, going to different worlds, like this shit is crazy. I remember Mario 64 playing it at a Toys R Us and my head just pretty much exploding. I was just like, holy shit, man. Like, look where games are going to go. This is awesome.
It was an incredible game, and it still is. It is very hard to go back to. I got downloaded on the Wii U digital store. It is not very fun to play anymore, and it's a lot harder than I remember. I don't remember being stuck in parts where I was when I was a kid.
It's that camera, man. It still gets people. Like, the camera, it's just so weird. Because there was even times in Odyssey when I was playing that the camera, like, I couldn't judge what angle to move and shit. Like, some of those, like, fixed camera angle parts of Odyssey, I was, like, jumping and, like, just jumping in the wrong direction. I was jumping too much to the left or the right. And I'm like, motherfucker, man, this sucks. Like, there was still moments of, but I guess that's what it was. But that was also when some of the camera where you could spin it all the way around you, and it was awesome. But yeah, that was one of those games, though, like you said, I bought it on everything. Everything. I bought it on 64. It was like a launch 3DS game. I bought it on, or not 3DS, DS game, sorry. Like the OG Nintendo DS. It was on that.
That was the first remake of it, right?
Yeah, like that was when they added on, they added Luigi, Yoshi, and Wario, and you could play as them, and it was some faux multiplayer stuff. I don't remember what it was exactly, but I remember that, of course, when I saw that was a launch game, I was like, well, yeah, like that's the game I'm going to end up getting. And I've probably bought that game 4 or 5 times easily, just on different consoles. The Wii, you know, Virtual Console for the Wii, Wii U. It just, I don't know. That's a really good game, but also too, that's one of those like groundbreaking games as far as like 3D platformers go. Because after that, fucking floodgates opened with everyone and their mother making one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And the Super Mario 64 had some good games, just not a lot of games I'd ever want to go back to play. That's why I don't think we'll get a mini N64 anytime.
Don't think so at all.
The other two sold like hotcakes. There's no denying it. I'd be less surprised to see like a Game Boy version come out that hooks up to your TV.
Yeah, like, and what I was saying to people is, and I've brought this up before, but like, okay, for example, how many games are on the SNES Classic? 30? I think?
Yes,
something like
somewhere
that.
Around there.
Right. Name me 30 first-party Nintendo games that weren't third-party licenses that are deserving to be on that N64 Classic. Go. There's not. Everybody's favorite games from that console are like, yeah, Mario 64, both Zeldas, GoldenEye, which is not a Nintendo property, Perfect Dark.
Yeah, you wouldn't get Perfect Dark.
You're not going to get any of those awesome wrestling games from back in the day. That's the problem. Turok is not a Microsoft property. Like, that's the whole problem, is like all these games that people remember being awesome, Star Wars, Episode 1 Racer, Shadows of the Empire, you're not going to get those because Nintendo doesn't own them. There just aren't that many.
You're not going to get Conker, Banjo.
Nope.
Like, maybe you get Paper Mario. I doubt it. Majora's Mask,
they could completely, but like I have full faith they would throw every Nintendo first party game on there, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, also too, are they good enough to have enough games that they could get licenses for to make something like that happen? I personally don't think so.
Yeah.
I think if anything, they'll just do another NES classic and just do another 30 different games or something. Like, I think honestly they'd probably go that route just because all of everybody's favorite N64 games weren't Nintendo first parties. They were all third parties. Or Nintendo owned them at one point in time, but now they don't. You know, I mean, they don't own Rare, so Banjo, Conker, Perfect Dark, all those are out of the window. You can't have those. So, yeah.
Which is unfortunate because I don't think we're ever going to see a Diddy Kong 2 and Diddy Kong 3. I know there was another one for the handhelds, but I don't count it. Mainly because I've never played it, but I'd love to see another Diddy Kong.
I love how you don't count it because you just didn't play it. You're just like,
it doesn't exist in my mind. If it wasn't on a mainline console, like a home console, I don't count it.
There you go. That works.
But no, it's funny you mentioned Turok because Turok ended up in my inbox. Turok 1 and 2 because they're out on Xbox this week.
Which is so random.
I'm terrified to download it.
It's so, again, man, some of those games you go back to, and especially from that era, that PlayStation N64 era, you go back and play them and you're like, woof, these are bad. Like, these are just not good games. Either controls have gotten significantly better, and obviously graphics have gotten significantly better, but like, those initial 3D games just don't age well at all.
No. Like, the camera, man. The camera's so bad.
So bad. It's just not good.
I am terrified to play it. I'm going to load it up just for shits and giggles, but like, I don't imagine it's going to be very good. And I don't know who the audience is that wants N64 versions of Turok 1 and 2.
Again, like, there's obviously... I'm sure there's a Kickstarter for it, or there's some like change.org where they're like,
I don't think they did a Kickstarter for
Turok.
it. The same team they were doing System Shock, which was just delayed.
Right.
So I guess this is a win for them. Maybe there was a Kickstarter. I don't know. I don't know why anyone would want Turok. It's beyond me.
Well, why would anybody want a new Busby?
No one did. That's the thing.
No one did. No one did. Still did it.
Now you talk about like edgy, shitty 90s culture. Bubsy was at the top of that. Bubsy ruined all that.
Yeah, no, he was a sly cat, bro. He was
dumb.
So stupid. God. But yeah, I mean, that's the only problem with, like, now there's this weirdness where obviously nostalgia brings back memories, right? So SNES and NES Classic fucking explode off shelves. Get it. But then there's certain games that come back that people are like, yes. But now I think people are just seeing that old is new and nostalgia, and especially with gaming, because now everybody who had that shit back in the day is old enough to buy it. Like, we just have the income to be able to just buy whatever we want and shit now. And I just think now they're starting to do remakes of games that people don't give a shit about. They're starting to bring back IPs and characters no one liked. Just to have that, like, oh, I remember that character. Let me play this game. Oh yeah, this game still sucks. Like, this game is still not good. So
nothing stabbed me deeper than playing GoldenEye again, man. That game has not aged well, and it's hard to believe I ever found it fun.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because like Perfect Dark was that for me, because like I didn't play GoldenEye or Perfect Dark because I didn't have a 64. I was more PlayStation and everything. Like, I had a 64 at one point in time, but I never got into that 4-player GoldenEye or whatever. So then when Perfect Dark went to 360, I downloaded it, and I was just like, oh, I don't like this at all. And of course, people are all nostalgic, so they like it, but I'm just like, nah, I'm good, dude. I don't like this shit.
Yeah, no. The only one I would be curious about are the Mario parties. I feel like they might hold up.
Well, here's where Nintendo completely screwed up. Was they had that the 3DS one, the best 100 games, and I'm like, that's perfect. You literally took the best games from all these Mario parties and put them into one. That's great. And then you threw it on the 3DS like an idiot. Why is that on the Switch?
And gave us that horrible Mario Party on the Wii U.
Yeah, just my poor wife. I bought that game for her, And then like, cause she's huge into Mario Party. And then we like looked at all reviews and she's just like, where did they go wrong? Like, when did Nintendo start screwing up Mario Party? I'm like, apparently after like 4 or 5. Like,
why did you have to use the gamepad and why did someone have to be Bowser? It made no sense to me.
Yeah, it was just, it's, again, Nintendo, you're turning the ship in the right direction now. Get your shit together. Dude, that was the biggest disappointment though when they had that Nintendo Direct and they showed that, like, Mario Party Best 100 Games. I was like, dude, my wife will be all about this. And then they were like, for 3DS. And I think collectively the world went, what the fuck? Like, what are you doing? Why is that not on the Switch? What are we doing right now, Nintendo?
Why are you still putting out 3DS games?
Just stop. Just quietly kill that thing off. Make the Switch.
Yeah, make it cross-platform.
Yeah, just put it on both. Like, what's the problem? Like,
I'm not a technology guy, but come on, we should be able to get this working on both systems.
Right. But again, Nintendo will just do this, and then of course people will be like, we want it on Switch, and then they'll release it on Switch like 6 months later when the 3DS one didn't sell that much. Like they'll just do that because well, they're doing that now with Wii U games like Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze.
Yep.
Did anybody ask for that remake on Switch? Would we have all been like, could you have done Smash instead of that? Like, real quick, can we just get some other game besides Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze? Oh, and you guys added new content. Just what we asked for. What?
Now, to be fair, that game is good.
It's good, but it's not like, I was going to say I wouldn't consider it top 10 Wii U games, but you would because shit didn't come out for that console. But, I mean, if you were putting resources into it, do you do Donkey Kong or do you do Smash first? Like,
Smash has got to be coming. I think Smash is coming in September.
I think it has to be, yeah. I think
all signs are pointing to it coming out in September.
Well, I mean, the Switch is already printing money, so at this point in time, they could literally just go, what game sold well on Wii U that no one bought because no one bought a Wii U? Cool. Deluxe Edition, Switch, go at it. Like, dude, Mario Kart 8 was so good.
I just want a new Captain Toad.
Yes. See, again,
I love me some Captain Toad.
That's what I'm saying. Like, Nintendo's going to take the best-selling games that happen on Wii U, but the only problem is they only sold like 1 million copies of it because no one bought a Wii U. So then they're just going to go slap Deluxe on the box, put it out for Switch, and they're going to sell 10 million of them. Like, dude, Mario Kart 8, I think there was I want to say I think there was like 10 million Wii U sold or something lifetime. Like it just obviously didn't sell much. And I think, I'm not kidding, I think there was like 6 or 7 million copies of Mario Kart 8 on the Wii U that were sold. So like 70% of people who owned a Wii U owned Mario Kart 8. So then as soon as they put it on Switch, I was like, well, yeah, that's a given. Like anybody who's going to buy a Switch is going to rebuy this game again. And they all did because that game sold so well on Switch. So,
I did.
Yeah, I did too.
I'm one of those.
I did too. As soon as they said new battle mode and it's 1080p and 60, I was like, yeah, good. Let's do that. That battle mode in the Wii U version was hot trash.
It sure was.
Don't get it. I don't know why, but they sort of made it better with the deluxe version on Switch. But just overall, it was pretty. And it came with all the DLC, which I didn't get on the Wii U. Like, because, again, I forgot the times that the Wii U hooked up to the internet. You know?
Oh, yeah, right. It did that.
It had DLC? What? That's crazy. Who would have thought that? I mean, the thing barely I'm sure it connected to like a 56K modem, right? Right? That's where Nintendo's at in technology.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
okay. Somewhere in there.
Yeah. It had an AOL disc. You had to put that in the tray, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we're both remembering it right. Okay. Just making sure.
Yeah.
Did you ever have friends that were into PlayStation, or were most of your friends pretty much like in line with what you were playing, or did you actually have like friends who were like, nah, I wouldn't say console wars-esque discussions, but were they just like, why did you do that? Or I did this, or did your friends kind of stick together with what you liked and enjoyed?
I picked up my friends depending on what consoles they had at home. So it made my after schools better.
There you go.
So yeah, like there was a kid up the street from me for a while there who had a PlayStation, and he had Tomb Raider, which I didn't like, and he had Crash Bandicoot, and Crash Bandicoot I really liked. But yeah, like a lot of the kids I knew had Nintendos and N64s, not so much PlayStation. I think PlayStation was just a bit older. It wasn't until the PlayStation 2 that I really started to play that. I had an Xbox at home, but my best friend had a PlayStation 2, and we gamed so much on that thing.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was. Again, it was all like the edginess. Like, oh, Nintendo's Nintendo's for babies. PlayStation's this. Like, I remember the game that got me interested in PlayStation was Twisted Metal. Just like seeing cars blow up and shit, and Sweet Tooth looking psycho, and I was like, edgy explosions. I'm gonna go that route, which I'm not upset that I did at all, because like obviously people would argue that PlayStation had more memorable games than N64 did, but also too it just depended on what you liked. Like, that was definitely the time where N64 for like RPGs, that thing was so far behind PlayStation. PlayStation had every damn RPG come out for it, and like 64 was just like stuck with whatever was left.
Did it have any RPGs?
Paper Mario. It had Quest 64. It had
right.
Paper Mario, which by the way, Quest 64. Anyways, Paper Mario, which was awesome. You can consider Zelda-esque RPG. I don't know. You know what I mean? That's more adventure. You know, that's what I'm saying. But then like, Wooden Square was just like, hey, we like PlayStation. And then we put every Final Fantasy in Tactics, and just all these games went to PlayStation. That's where there was that huge difference. Like, if you liked this genre, then you had, like, example, if you liked Star Wars games, you had a 64. Cause PlayStation had the worst Star Wars games ever. Like, they just weren't good. I was bummed. I was like, as a Star Wars fan, I had a Genesis and a PlayStation, which they both got screwed out of like awesome Star Wars games. I was just like, man.
It's funny the difference in games back then. Like, there actually was a huge difference, where now there really is not. Like, everything's like either a timed exclusive, or I guess the PlayStation has a few exclusives, but it's pretty. I mean, what the fuck am I saying? I'm not saying anything right. This is wrong, because Nintendo has a ton of unique games.
Well, no. So here's the thing. I agree with you in certain things, right? So here's the thing. Back when it was Genesis Super Nintendo, games like Aladdin were different. Like, games like Lion King and Mortal Kombat were different games because of the console it was on. You know what I mean? Like, they had to be different. Just because of, like, I don't know why they had to be different, but like the fact that there was like Star Wars games that came out on Super, and yeah, they were like exclusive, but I mean, like, I don't see anything on there that couldn't have happened on Genesis. Look at the Batman games for Super Nintendo, or for Super Nintendo. Batman Returns for Genesis and Super Nintendo, I guess, were different. And I mean, that's the thing, is like, it was the same IP, it was the same license, but there was like almost two different companies working on the game. You know what I mean? That's what it was weird. And 64, the same thing, because certain games just didn't have any, like, you couldn't do certain games on a cartridge that PlayStation was doing on a disc. So, like, there were games that were completely different. Like, Tony Hawk, for example, Tony Hawk 1 came out for PlayStation, and N64 didn't even have it. And it wasn't Activision saying, like, we don't want, it's just like, we made it for PlayStation. It works easier on PlayStation. And then,
but they got it.
Eventually they did, but it was like a year later. And it
was a while.
And it was just weird. Like, the sound, just the CD had like just better audio and everything overall compared to a cartridge. But then, like, by the time Tony Hawk 4 was out on PlayStation or whatever, friggin' 2 was just coming to 64. Like, it was just so weird. But same thing, like, I don't know if it ever got released, but I think Resident Evil was supposed to come out on 64.
I feel like it did. I fondly remember it being on there.
I want to say I thought it did, and it ran probably like garbage, because it's just like, dude, again, that's where you had that divide. It wasn't even of like power. It was a divide of like the cartridge versus disc. Like, that's where shit got, and discs were just entirely cheaper to make. You could have 4 discs on a game. A game could come with 4 discs and be huge. And on the cartridge, you had to pay Nintendo extra for bigger cartridges. Like, that's where shit got way crazy. And of course, Sega, who the hell knows what Sega was doing? Nobody owned a Saturn.
No one did.
No one did.
No one did.
No one did.
So just Resident Evil 2 came out on N64, not Resident Evil 1.
What the hell is that? See, like, right there, like,
But original Resident Evil also came on the PlayStation 3, Wii, and Microsoft Windows.
Fancy.
Weird. But yes, no, it did not come on the N64, but 2 did.
Yeah. See, I knew there was a Resident Evil on 64, but again, dude, I wonder how that game compared to the PlayStation version of it. Like, that's where they literally had to start figuring out shit to make it work on the other console. Like, that was where there was, like, a difference in now, like, obviously some systems, you know, are more powerful than others, and that's where it started getting a little bit different, like, later on down the road, where everything used discs, but then this console was a bit more powerful, so we were able to do this, and, like, that's kind of the case now, because that's all everybody wants to talk about now. The P's and the frames per second. Mm-hmm. That's all we boiled down.
And I just want to talk about story mode, you know?
Yeah, right?
That's what it all goes back to. And, like, if we tie it back to, you know, the start of this podcast, it all just comes back to single player for me. And that's what I've always loved. And I think that's why I like the Nintendo so much more over the Sega. It was just because there were so many more single player games, where a lot of the Sega games were beat 'em ups, like Mortal Kombat and Fist of Fury and stuff like that.
Yeah. Like, they had so many games like that. They were just clones of each other. And if you liked that genre, then you were all about it. But otherwise, you know, an example, like, I wasn't even into RPGs as much until I got a PlayStation, just because my exposure to RPGs on a Genesis compared to a Super Nintendo. Like, if I had a Super Nintendo, I'm sure I would have played Earthbound and Secret of Mana and Final Fantasy and Mario RPG. Like, I'm sure I would have played those, but the fact that I had a Genesis where they weren't, you had Phantasy Star, but that wasn't as mainstream as something like Mario RPG or Final Fantasy. You know what I mean? Like, it was just way different, but, yeah, it was the whole single player thing I'm more into now. Like, obviously I get why you were into it, but, like, I'm more into it now just because I don't have time to play games online with people as much. So, like, when I get a game, I'm like, cool, single player, 8-hour story, fuck yeah, let's go. Like, I'm so pumped. I'm like, yes, I have time to play and beat this game and feel like I actually accomplished something. Whereas I don't want to sink 1,000 hours into Destiny, because that doesn't sound fun. Like, at all.
Yeah, I'm all about playing, like, a lot of games, and if I do that, I can't do that. So, you know, I gotta choose my battles here.
No, I completely understand where you're coming from.
And I get bored. I just get really bored of I don't like the grinding. It's not for me.
Yeah. Certain games there's a certain extent where I, like, feel like games are too big, and I go, fuck this, I can't do this. But then certain games hold my attention for so long, and then I'm like, it ends, and I'm like, good, this game is ended. I don't need to keep doing this shit anymore, and I can go play something else. Which we discussed before with Assassin's Creed. It's exactly how I felt. I literally got to the end, and I was like, why is this game so hard out of nowhere? Like, where did this game get hard? And then as soon as, like, I got to that point, I hated it, and I was just like, all right, I'm already here. This is, like, the second to last boss. Let me just grind my ass off and get past this part, and then I'm done with this game forever. So that's what I ended up having to do. But then certain games end, and you're like, fuck, I wish that game was a bit longer, because that game was awesome. That game was really good. Like Wolfenstein 2.
I would have liked that for a game called Night in the Woods.
I've heard of that game. I have not played it.
I wish it was a bit longer. It's so good. I'm probably going to go back and do a new game plus or another run on the Switch.
Right. Yeah, I mean, like, certain games are they're good for the time, and then certain games just last way too long, which, I mean, for me, like, certain RPGs, like, and the same thing on PlayStation, I was like, that was one thing that blew my mind, is the fact that, like, RPGs were so long. Like, they're really long. Like Final Fantasy VII is not a 10 or 15 hour game. That's not a game you could, you know, like, that is a just time consuming game. But also, too, as long as the story is good and not shitty, and it's not difficulty spikes out of nowhere and stuff, you know, like, there's got to be that fine level between, like, grinding, but also enjoying what you're doing.
Yeah, I don't remember the last time I played through an RPG all the way through. It's been a long time. I'm gonna get through Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 here again eventually. Yeah. One day.
Yeah, that's my, I'm a really big Kingdom Hearts fan.
Oh shit, man, me too.
There you go, high five.
Hey, high five through my microphone.
Boom, there you go. No, I'm a huge Kingdom Hearts fan, and it's funny because my daughter, she, you know, visits me during the summer times and stuff, and she asked a stupid question. She's like, is Kingdom Hearts good? I'm like, no, I don't own all of them or have wall scrolls of them. No, it's a terrible game. Of course. What are you talking about? This game is amazing. I love this game. And she's like, do you care if I play them? I was like, no, like, by all means play them. So I actually last summer, like, watched her play through the games. Like, I work from home. So like, I'll be working from home and I'll just occasionally look over at the TV while she's like playing through the games. And that just got my, like, I was like, oh dude, I remember that part. I remember that part. And she would just look at me. She would, like, in between breaks of work, she'd be like, Dad, who is this? I'm like, just keep playing. You'll find out.
Do you have the 1.5 version, like 2.5?
Yeah. All of the above. Yeah. I have all of them.
Did you play 2.8?
I did not. No. I am going to do a 1.5, 2.5. Like, I'm going to do 1, 2, and Birth by Sleep at least. And then I'm going to do 2.8. But I'm also holding off on them for now until, like, because I want to kind of play them into it. Like, I actually did that with Halo. When 5 came out, I actually played 1, 2, 3, and 4, like, right into 5. And then I was so sad when I played 5. But
see, that's a good way to be for Kingdom Hearts, though. Right. It's so confusing.
It's so, even, the worst thing is she was telling me, who is this character? I'm like, fuck, I don't remember. Like, hold on a minute. I'm like looking up at Google. I'm like,
probably a time traveler from the future who's also another guy that you know in the past. I don't know, man.
He's
it's
a nobody,
confusing.
of a Heartless, of a Keyblade Master. You're like, what the fuck is going on in this game? But,
what the hell?
Yeah,
I'm like, right now in 1.5, I'm at the Tarzan level.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate that world so much.
That world's really bad. That's the other thing, too, is, again, some games age well and some games age poorly. Dude, Kingdom Hearts 1's camera is so bad.
Oh, it's so bad. And, like, the little loop and, like, it's not very clear what you're supposed to do.
Yep.
And it's a lot of just running back to the same place you've already been.
And the gummy ship.
Yep. Don't like that.
Nope.
2.8 is beautiful. 2.8 is so gorgeous. It's a ton of fun. And I really hope it's a lot like the final version we're going to get for 3.
Right.
Because it's going to be very good.
Not to mention 3 might be the prettiest game because that Toy Story level looked better than the damn movie.
Oh, like, yeah.
That level looked like beyond Pixar level quality of animation. I was like, holy shit, you guys are doing a really good job here. And again, though, we have to temper our expectations because Kingdom Hearts will come out summer of 2029.
Yeah,
we have
for sure.
to. Like, we're not.
For sure.
Anybody who says
my head will be in a jar by then.
they'll just put your head on a robot body 37 years from now when 3 releases. Here's how duped I got. I bought a PS3 thinking Kingdom Hearts 3 would come out on that, and then it just never did. They were just like, yeah, Kingdom Hearts 3, absolutely.
Well, I'm convinced it's going to come out on the 13th. And like a Friday the 13th or Tuesday the 13th.
Right.
And there isn't any of those this year. So I don't think it's coming.
There you go. Well, shit. Thanks, Brock. You just ruined it. Now it's 2019. Start looking.
Well, let's look when the next Friday the 13th is.
Yeah, let's do that, right? And all of a sudden you're going to find out it's 2021 and you're like, shit, this is not good.
Well, there's a April 13th, but I mean, that's not going to happen.
No. Yeah. Like 2 months from now? Nah. You can skip that
one. No.
Yeah, that's not good. Dude, I remember.
But don't worry, there's a 7, so no, so we're not getting that. And then we're going to have to wait till September 13th, 2019.
Yeah, there you go. There's your release date, guys.
Or December 13th, 2019.
There you go. That's probably even better because Square likes to release their games like the last week of the year for whatever reason. So, Yeah, there you go. You heard it here first, guys. And if Brock's right, somebody get lotto tickets from that guy too, because he figured it out.
Yeah, man, I can see the future. I'm Nostradamus over here up in Canada.
Yeah, I didn't know you were in Canada. That's crazy. You're hidden up in Canada. We should just come to you for everything. Like Half-Life 3. When's that coming out?
Yeah, I got some bold predictions here. Man, I didn't like we do on my Game Moose show. We do predictions every year, but like 5 crazy predictions, and I didn't predict Splinter Cell's coming out this year, but now I've got a funny feeling it's coming. Dude, there's a franchise I really want back.
Please, dude, you said that on the
last year too.
Yeah, on the last year on the Xbox one, you were just like,
I got hurt so bad by it. There's a playable demo of it out there in the wild. I know that much. I just thought it was actually going to come out last year, but so I'm expecting it this year now.
Well, I mean, like I said, hopefully that happens. I am appreciating more companies being on the side of let's not talk about shit until it's going to come out this year. Like, I love that.
Me too.
To death. Don't show me anything. Don't pull a Watch Dogs on us. Don't pull that kind of shit on us where you show us the game 5 years in advance and then you play it and you go, oh, this game isn't as good as what you showed me 5 years ago. Yeah, because we were hoping the game would be this, and then you got your expectations up, and then it came out and was not any of that. So,
yeah. And like, I don't want to know. Like, I don't want to be like driving my car and then drive off a bridge and be like stuck and then drowning and think about that I'll never get to play that Splinter Cell. So, I mean, this way I don't even know if it's coming. I don't know if anyone ever is going to get to play that. So,
I love that's your thing.
That'll be better.
That would be the best thing ever if you're like, fucking Ubisoft, they said 2019 and I'm drowning in a car right now. If only I got
fucking Ubisoft. Oh, I should call my mother, but I'm going to think about Sam Fisher.
Yeah, exactly, right? I'm going to call a loved one, or I'll get mad that Michael Ironside didn't do the voice of Sam Fisher in the latest Splinter Cell. God damn you, Ubisoft. That'll
throw it an angry tweet.
Yes, throw an angry tweet, and that'll be on your tombstone. Your final words. Fuck you, Ubisoft.
Yeah, that would get mad retweets, though. Death tweet? Pff, big time.
Yeah, absolutely. That would work. I mean, you'd probably get at least, like... Would people follow? How awful would that be if like people started following you after your death tweet? Though it's like,
that would really suck.
What?
that would really suck.
Brock broke the all-time Twitter follower record the time after he tweeted his final death tweet. Oh my god! Yeah, I mean, because again, if you're gonna follow Brock on Twitter after he dies, what else are you gonna see?
What's the point, right? Like, why do people follow dead celebs? It's just bizarre to me.
Yeah, because
like, they ain't gonna tweet from the grave, man. That has literally never happened
yet.
Yet. Until ghosts pick up Twitter.
Yeah, dude, there's ghost Twitter out there. It's out there. We'll figure it out. We'll match it up. So obviously, like you said, though.
I've answered like 3 of your questions, and we've been doing this like an hour.
It's fine. No, because we're getting close to the edge anyway. Yeah,
close to the edge is right here. All this talk about death.
Exactly. You know, it's okay. Don't worry about it. We'll be fine. So you went PlayStation 2, though. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
So I mean, everybody went PlayStation 2, though. Like a lot of people did.
Like everyone went to PlayStation.
Like a lot of people did.
Don't get me wrong. I had an Xbox. I had a Dreamcast too that some kid sold me at school, and it had it was like one with all the burnt DVD copies of everything. So that's how I played Half-Life. But I did have an Xbox, and I had a little game called Blinks the Cat.
Yeah, buddy.
Which was just
the time.
I mean, 13-year-old me was pretended it was good because I just wasted $80 on it. That's $23,000 American.
That's right.
And holy macro, that was a bad game.
Dude, that's the worst part is like when you were a kid and you spent your hard-earned money on trash. Like, you're just like just pissed. You're like,
that would have been 8 rentals. I could have got 8 rentals for that price. Though, like, no one had like Xbox rentals at the time. Rentals were so weird. Like, they were still like stocking like Super Nintendo games and just getting like the good N64 games. There was no Xbox games on rent.
Yeah, exactly.
But I had like Crimson Skies, Fusion Frenzy. I love that original lineup of the Xbox games. It was so good. It was just so unfortunate that the system was big and the controller was horrible. Just like little hands. Controller.
Yeah, if you unless you were a man and you wanted to get your hand stuck in gang signs, you didn't use that original controller. That original controller was trash.
Yeah, it was just uncomfortably weird.
Yeah, I don't know. And then when the S controller came out, it was hands down like the greatest improvement ever. Everybody was just like, yes.
Someone was floating around on Twitter there too that they want to bring, like, Sega should have their own Game Pass, or like a Dreamcast should have their own Game Pass on Xbox. And it's the stupidest idea I've ever heard, and I fucking love it, and I want it, because Dreamcast games would be amazing to play again. Like Seaman.
Yep.
I just like saying the word Seaman.
Yeah, you could just do that too.
And Jet Set Radio.
I mean, the thing is, too, technically, Game Pass could easily fill those voids. Like that, there's only certain companies that can get away with like a Game Pass or an EA Access. Like, Fucking Sega's,
Ubisoft easily could.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like they're the ones who I'm surprised hasn't done one yet.
They have to be looking at it. The only reason is I think they still sell a lot of their old titles, especially on the backwards compatibility.
Yeah, I mean they're really good about making sure their games are backward compatible. So I mean, at least they're doing that. But also too, like a lot of these people aren't stupid. Like, you know, when it comes to like games being backward compatible, also you're going to start reselling copies of those games. Like, what was it? I remember when Black Ops 2 became backward compatible for Xbox One. Sales on Amazon, granted this is an inflated number, went up like 7,000% or some fucking crazy number. Now granted, many people weren't buying Black Ops 2 at the time, but like, how many more copies of Black Ops? Dude, it charted that month on NPD. It charted.
That's so crazy.
And it was old, and it was gone. And nobody played it because there was like 3 other Call of Duties that were out after that. And then it charted the month it became backward compatible. So that opened up everybody's eyes. And yeah, Ubisoft though, I was just mentioning my buddy, I think every single Assassin's Creed you can play on Xbox. Like all of them. I think every single one of them are backward compatible, which is awesome if you like that franchise because you could have one console and literally go play every single one of them if you want.
I'm pretty sure they are because I think I have everyone installed.
Yeah, like but they do that, and then, you know, now they're doing Far Cry, which they're doing like a remake of 3, which they haven't really specified though if that's like a remake or if they're just straight putting it file save as Xbox One version and just putting it there. I don't know what they're doing, but yeah, that was the one thing that they're the one company that could easily say, yeah, we're doing our own subscription and everything. Sony could do it too, which they do with PlayStation Now, but it's just not implemented that well. But, you know, everybody could do their own, like, Sega though already has a bunch of stuff on Game Pass. Like, don't they have like Streets of Rage and all those like random ass arcade games
Yeah,
on there?
I think so, yeah.
Right, so I mean...
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, but yeah, Dreamcast, dude, again, they could easily like, well, Crazy Taxi, that way, Games with Gold, man. It's a start.
Well, Games with Gold has got to be phasing out here.
You think?
I don't see the point anymore with Game Pass. I think they'll just include it. I think Game Pass will move in. It'll be all in one.
If there was an all-in-one subscription, that would be awesome. Like, if you just charge $15 a month for...
I mean, the games the last few months have just been so weak that I don't feel like there's any incentive for most people to want it anymore.
I mean, I didn't mind this past month, like when they had, what are the games this month? There was...
Shadowrun?
No, not Shadowrun.
I think.
No, they have that Trials of the Blood Dragon game, which that's the one Trials game that I was just like, no, I'm good. Like, that's the one I didn't want. But the 360 games weren't bad. Like, I'm trying to think. I thought this month, I'm completely drawing a blank, but like, I'm almost positive the games this month weren't awful, but there are some months that are just like, yo, you guys hit the bottom of the barrel this month. Like,
yeah,
you guys definitely do not have a good.
But it's funny, like, because PlayStation got Rime last month, and everyone was like, wow, Rime, but Rime came to Game Pass the same day.
Right. I mean, again, like, people they just love their PlayStation, man. They
really do.
They do, man. You know what? Us Xbox people, we're just trash.
Yeah, we are.
We should just stop. You know what? We should just trade them in.
I mean, I play both sides. Don't get me wrong. I just really like the Xbox controller, and I really like Mixer's built-in capabilities.
Right. So, the one game that got me all pumped, just because I thought it was overpriced to begin with, was Super Hot. That's the one I was super...
Oh, man, that game's so good.
It's so good, but when I saw it was $25, and I think the game's like 2 hours long, I was like, yeah. I'm going to wait for that thing to be on sale. And then eventually it got put on sale for $0.00, and I was like, yeah, I like that price a lot. That's a good price.
Hey, you can't beat that price.
Right, but there's been, dude, like, for example, there's games that have been put on Games with Gold, like Sunset Overdrive.
Yeah.
The game is so good. It's so fun, and...
I never got into that. I downloaded that. Maybe I'm going to play that to fall asleep after this.
It's just like, it's just so relaxing. Dude, that game has like explosions everywhere. If any game...
Oh, is it?
Oh, that game is...
Well, then.
It's super high energy and shit. You're not going to be able to...
Oh, okay. Then no, I will not do that then.
Yeah, probably not a good idea. Of all games that need an Xbox One X update, that game does. Because that game was gorgeous, and I just wish it looked better.
Yeah, it's not enhanced, eh?
Nope. Sure isn't, but...
That's because that team is busy working on other stuff.
Yeah, non-Xbox stuff like Spider-Man, which I can't wait for.
I can't wait either.
Spider-Man looks so good. In Game Pass, they're adding Rise of the Tomb Raider this month, which is
which is an amazing game.
Awesome. Yeah, like good for you guys. So I literally think this month they're gonna go nuts. Like they're gonna be like Sea of Thieves, of course, but then here's like 6 other reasons why Game Pass is gonna be awesome in March. Like
for listeners at home, we did tell you we're gonna talk about Game Pass later. Here we are.
Here we go.
Here's that moment you've been waiting for.
We did tell you guys. So sorry if you didn't want to get here. I'm sorry you got here. But yeah, I mean, overall,
these circle jerkers talking about the Xbox.
Yeah, exactly.
Man, I like all systems. I think the Xbox has some really good features. I think they have a really bad UI, but they have some really good features.
Wow, it did at first. It was Oh my god, that first generation like OG Xbox.
Oh yeah.
One, good lord, was that just the worst.
But every time I get used to it, they change it again.
Yeah, they do change it.
Guys, just put on another fucking game, all right?
Let's
do. Stop changing this.
Out of all companies, they literally change their UI. They're like, hey, y'all used to this? Cool, guess what? It's all changing again. You're like, God damn it, I just got used to it. How do I invite people to a party again? God damn it.
Right?
Yeah,
there's too many steps. Like, there's just a few too many steps for everything.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's considerably better than what it was, so that's the only way I look at it. I'm like, it's better than that trash we had before, right?
It certainly is.
Gotta just go off of that. But, no, I am in the same boat as Brock. I prefer my Xbox. I prefer the controller. I'm sorry, Xbox One controller is my favorite controller I've ever held. It's perfect in my eyes. It's really nice. And I also own a PlayStation, and last year my game of the year was Horizon. So everybody can go fuck right off and say, your game of the year was Halo Wars 2 because that's the only Xbox game that came out. Shut up. Shut up. Like,
shut up, you're right, and I hate you.
Shut up, you're right, and I did buy Halo Wars 2 and I did enjoy it. However, no, like, I like all systems. I have a Switch. I actually just bought snipper clips for the Switch so me and my wife can play. And we were having a blast playing that. And yeah, I mean, everybody likes everything, so it's okay. Nobody has to hate on anybody at all.
Oh, I don't like a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff I don't like. Can I just say that Payday 2 is the worst game of this generation?
Dude,
and if you buy that, you really need to give your head a shake.
I saw you on Twitter just mention how, like, no one should give a shit about Payday 2 coming to the Switch or something.
Okay, I don't know how much it is in America. It's $70 Canadian for an old fucking out-of-date shitty game that forces you to buy more stuff around every corner. It's like riddled. It's like, oh yeah, you want to beat this mission? Don't worry, just give us another $10. And then like the whole thing is like you need to be on Teams, like you need voice chat,
right?
And the Switch doesn't have voice chat, and the game doesn't work with the stupid Switch voice app, so you can't talk with anyone on your team. It makes no sense to me. I wanted to fail so badly, and not just because I'm a horrible person, but like the development team has been so shitty about updating any of the fixes, and instead just keep adding more microtransactions instead of fixing any of the broken bugs.
Wow. Yeah, I've heard Payday 2 was like just a disaster. Like I remember seeing it on Reddit, people just in bold like, do not buy Payday 2. And I'm like, what? And they're just like, everything's broken. Developers don't give a shit to fix it. And I'm just like, yeah, that'll happen. And when that happens, then, you know. But also, too, what sucks now is like some companies are seeing the success of the Switch and just putting their game on there, but for some reason charging way more than they need to. Example, Overcooked. Fucking amazing game. Like, Overcooked is such a good couch co-op game, right? My wife and I literally have not laughed as loud playing a game. Any Mario Party we played, nope. Overcooked was amazing. I bought it with all the DLC on Xbox. I think it was like $13, right? Switch version, $40. Why? What are we doing right now? Why are you charging $40 for that version of the game on the Switch? It's ridiculous. That's
a big problem. And now that the thing's being filled with so much like vaporware.
Now it is.
It kind of sucks, and the games are so much more expensive.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense. Like, dude, by the way, by the time Wolfenstein 2 comes out for Switch, they're going to charge $60 for it, and that game will probably have a Game of the Year edition for $60 with all the DLC.
Oh yeah, easily, and then you'll be able to buy it on sale then like unboxing day for $20.
Yeah, exactly. Like, just doesn't make sense. Like, and of course the Switch, dude. Target in the States had like a buy two get one free sale, and it worked on all games except for Switch games. It's like, what are we doing right now? What's that, man? Nobody wants that. I do Switch games too, but I get it was newer, but I'm just like, that's like a kick in the face, because like if you wanted to, you could just be like, Odyssey, Mario Kart, Zelda, done. Mm-hmm. I have the 3 best games on the Switch possible, done. Mm-hmm. But no, they were like, nah, we're not going to let you guys do that. But we'll let you get Wolfenstein, Assassin's Creed, and Shadow of War, which are all 3 such good games. And I'm just like, I'd rather do that then, if you're not going to let me do my Switch shit. But whatever, that's fine. No big deal. So, of course, we're going to go back again. That's just fine.
Going back.
Did you just so obviously there was a point when Xbox, you changed over to Xbox and everything. Like, you obviously kind of moved more towards Xbox.
Yeah, I never owned a PS2. I just went to my friend's house a lot to play. I bought the Xbox. That was my thing.
Right.
From the N64 right to the Xbox.
Because then you had to justify Blinks the Time Sweeper.
Yeah, and Crimson Skies.
But Crimson Skies isn't terrible.
No, it was good. It was really good.
That's
Blinks the Cat was not good.
No, not really.
And I was still dumb enough to buy the sequel though.
Was it just because you like had the Xbox and you felt like obligated
I think there were some problems with me as a child. I couldn't think for myself very well.
Well, I mean, you were in like a basement of a gym for a good amount of time. Maybe there were some fumes or something from a gym that probably like leaked into your head or something.
It was probably the weights people kept dropping on my head.
Yeah, it was those weights that cut off the blood supply to your right foot, and that's why we haven't seen it.
And the strange protein shakes old men were giving me.
I know, man.
I'd wake up hours later confused.
It's exactly what it was. It fucked with your head, Brock.
They just look at me as they left and say, new high score.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know what that means.
I don't either. I don't want to know what that means. But you know what it did? It made you to lead to poor life decisions like Blinks the Time Sweeper.
Yeah, it did.
And
it did.
So then you just kind of continued down Xbox Road from there? Like you just...
I did. And then I had like my 360. I had so many 360s because they red ringed or they broke or whatever.
But you stuck with them, right?
Yeah, and then I got a PS3 and I didn't like it. It wasn't for me. I just loved my Xbox because all I wanted to play was Skyrim all the time.
Right, and that's the other thing. Talking about the disparity between 2 consoles, every Bethesda game on PS3 was trash. Every one of them. Fallout, Skyrim, broke as shit. Didn't get the DLC right away. DLC dropped the frame rates on only PlayStation. Like, they couldn't figure out their shit when it came to PlayStation 3.
And it breaks my heart, too, because I had a gamer tag, and then I forgot what the password is and the email. Like, it was a Hotmail account. I never could get into it. So I've had to change my gamer tag, like, 3 times, so I don't have all those, like, sweet achievements. And I'm a sucker for those things.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't get one today, so what am I even doing with my life?
Exactly. I mean, you might as well.
And they're so stupid. Like, they don't mean anything.
They really don't.
But I want them.
Well, that's what I do now, like, before I trade in a game, because I don't hang on to games unless I, like, absolutely love the franchise. I just get rid of shit real fast. Assassin's Creed is exactly what I did. I beat it. I was like, good. Fucking done with this game. Okay, what achievements can I get before I trade this thing in? what can I get real quick that I can just probably knock out in like 5 or 10 minutes? And then I did all those.
I'll usually never go to my way for an achievement, except for downloading the game Ben-Hur.
Yep, exactly. Everybody has that one they're ashamed of.
Yeah.
Mine was Madden 2007 or something, the very first one that came out on 360, because there was like 5 achievements, and some of them were like, because that was before they figured out how to work achievements. So like there was like 5 achievements in the whole game, and they were like 200 points, 100 points, 300 points. Like, they were just ridiculous. And there was only like 5 or 6 of them. But that was like those first 360 games where they were still trying to figure out, like, the fuck are these achievement things? And now they're insane. Like, some of them are just outrageous and I can't do them. But I have certain games that I have 1,000% on, or 1,000 out of 1,000 that I'm quite proud of. But, I mean, again though, what the fuck? It doesn't matter. What am I happy for? I'm happy that I see a number.
Give me a game I could go right now and get a bunch of achievements on. Easy peasy.
Any of the Telltale games?
Okay, I don't want to sit through that bullshit. Give me something easy. Quick. I want quick.
Shit, I don't know.
Like my sex life.
Oh, no.
I know.
You're all like serious. I know. I don't know. You could play Gears. I'm sure you could play the first round of Gears and beat it. Did you already beat Gears?
I think so.
Oh, I'm sure you could play. There's some I don't know. Shit. Go download Trials. Like you could probably beat some level in Trials or fall a lot in Trials, and you could probably get an achievement right there.
Perfect. I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, do that because if you don't have an achievement, you're wasting your life. So that's your words, not mine, though. So again, that'll be on your tombstone.
I mean, Ben-Hur's mine. Like if anyone's like, "What's a game?" Ben-Hur.
Ben-Hur. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, of course, everybody has Avatar: The Last Airbender. Like that was another one that like people. Cause you could hit B like 80 times and get all of them in like 2 minutes or something. Like it was way too easy. I'm just like, wow. And I remember the Simpsons game, of course, had the one where you hit start and got an achievement.
Yeah. Yeah.
Please press start.
I'm a huge Avatar fan, right?
Like, okay.
No, I'm kidding. I've just never heard someone say that and wanted to be different.
There you go. I mean, well, you are different, Brock. You're such a unique guy.
Never heard someone say they want a new Avatar. They care about Avatar.
They're obviously out there. I don't watch anime or anything, and of course it was a Nickelodeon show. It's like it's weird.
No, you're talking about The Last Airbender. I'm talking about the James Cameron movie.
Oh, yeah. Well, kids like it, and weirdos who want to have sex with really tall blue people. I mean, dude, but you don't realize they're making 3 sequels, bro.
Yes, they are. 4. They're making 4 sequels.
Because, and those will come out just as quickly as Kingdom Hearts 3 will, so.
With the Ubisoft game in tow.
Dude. Oh, by the way, speaking of that Ubisoft game was demoed at the Best Buy I worked at because it was one of the first 3D games that was on 360. Like, It was full on, like, PlayStation had the big push for 3D because they had 3D TVs and all that shit. It was one of the first games that was 3D on the 360. And let me tell you, while that game was trash, it was a cool demo you could show people with 3D. It was kind of cool.
Now there's a new one you can play. It'll be in 4D.
Yeah, it'll shoot water in blue.
I think it's like slated for like 2021, which is bizarre.
Of course it is. Why wouldn't it be? But, I mean, it's okay. Of course, when that game comes out, we'll be able to get a review from you on your website, right, Brock?
Nice. Yeah, definitely for that game.
That transition right
I'm actually doing no reviews until that game. Okay. I'm on a strike. Okay. But you can find me at Brockstar Gaming. .com. I'm not one of those weird Canadians that uses a .ca and limits your audience to like the 17 people who like video games here. In a weird country.
There's only 17 of you, and like 5 of you do a podcast together or something, right?
Yeah. So like, man, there's not many. We're gonna have to start killing each other off.
Yeah, that'll be the PUBG for real. Winner chicken dinner. You get a gaming website. That's what you have to do. So yeah, like you have your website, and of course you have a podcast as well, which you did mention earlier.
I talk every week on the Game Moose. I mean, I stream on Watch Mixer. Man, you join me sometimes, which is nice. That's at mixer.com/Brockstar. Y'all should really go try out Mixer. It's fun. It's cool.
Yeah,
it needs more viewers.
Yeah, we've had our fun times. And then we've also had people get in our stream and tell us how much we suck. So.
I like that. I like a good. I like getting put down. But spit on me, baby.
Yeah, exactly. And on Mixer, the right problem is we just need people to go watch the stream to be able to say those things. Like we can't have Sean's mom be the only person watching.
Yeah, it's just weird.
It's really weird. Like Sean's mom,
she's so attracted to me.
Is that why she's always there? She's like, wait, you're not streaming with Brock tonight? You know what? I'm busy. I got a busy day tomorrow.
I'm busy.
Busy bee. I got to go to bed. Bye. That's exactly what happens. Well, again, if anybody wants any links to any of Brock's stuff, I'll have it in my show notes. So that way you can go check out all the cool things he does. Follow him on Twitter as well, because he's quite funny on there as well. And he talks a lot of shit about Payday 2. Feel free to check him out there. So, dude, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thanks
I appreciate you being on
here
and making me laugh. You're a good person.
I like making internet friends.
Yay, internet friends. All right, thank you for Brock for being on the show. Again, super nice guy. I mean, also he's Canadian. Him and Sean, they're just so damn nice. You know, I don't know what it is about, you awesome Canadian people, but you tend to be really nice. So, and you tend to want to be on my show. So I appreciate that as well. If you guys want to check out any of the stuff he's doing, go ahead and check him out on Twitter at Brock McLaughlin, or his website, Brockstar Gaming, which I will have links in the show notes for all of the above. So feel free to check out the stuff he does. He will probably be broadcasting on Mixer with me again. So we'll probably do some ridiculous shit for Sea of Thieves or PUBG or one of those games. If you guys want to be on the show just like he was, again, just go ahead and send me a tweet at MitchPower1116 on Twitter, or at the podcast Twitter page, which is at GUG Podcast on Twitter. I also have a Facebook group, Growing Up Gaming Facebook group, and my website, GUGpodcast.com. Again, I suck at social media. I'm trying to get better. Hopefully it'll get better one day and be more consistent. The more you guys visit, the more I'll give a shit to update it. So again, thank you guys for listening. Subscribe, leave us a rating on iTunes, tell me if I suck, or tell me if I'm doing okay. Either way is good. I'd appreciate it either way. And I will catch you guys next week. See ya.